experimental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story, and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
And welcome back. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy almost end of the 2024 Gregorian calendar. Today is Sunday, December 29. Still, at least where I am here on the East Coast. And I know it's late, but when we made the title for tonight's show, it brought up a lot of different feelings and thoughts. And instead of being all over the place like I normally am, I tried to take some notes so that we could flow through the conversation the best way I see it. Right. This is my show, so it's going to be how I think things should flow. And if you have some comments or concerns, you can take it up in the chat. What's going on, Yoshi? What's going on all the way free? I'm so happy you guys are here to join us tonight because have the brightest immigrants come to save America? That is the question that is on everybody's minds, from Elon Musk to Vivek Ramaswamy. They have some thoughts, and damn it if the internet didn't let them know that those thoughts are unwelcome here. But is it just words? Are people just shouting into the abyss and, well, nothing's happening because of their shouts? You know, like when people just send thoughts and prayers, you know, something's on fire, but send thoughts and prayers. You know, I mean, it's a good gesture. It's nice to know that people are thinking about you in your time of need, but in your time of need, don't you need things, right? You don't want someone sending thoughts and prayers in the same form and fashion that one preacher, pastor, he felt some kind of way about that member of his congregation who stopped with him on the side of the road after his car had broken down, and he prayed with him. I mean, seems like a move, right? And if the shoe were on the opposite foot and said member of the congregation were going through something, the preacher or pastor would say, hey, let's get a prayer circle going. Let's send some thoughts and prayers this brother's way. Well, thoughts and prayers are nice, but maybe we can do some things. And, well, Elon and Vivek, they are in a position to do some things, right? Elon, with his whopping $400 billion of estimated net worth. I don't know if there is a, leave a little room for this much millions or billions or what, but I do think that if sources are comfortable saying that he is the richest man in the world at this time, then maybe they are getting the information from somewhere credible. Maybe it's not too far off. So while 400 billion might not be his exact net worth, it is a pretty penny. And whoa, how cool is it that he decides to bring this wealth and knowledge and resources to America? Like, shout out to us, right? Because, I mean, he could have taken all of this ingenuity, creativity, all of these inspirational ideas somewhere else. But no, he brought them to America. And, well, we've got Tesla and we've got SpaceX. And never mind the fact that, sometimes the ships blow up and sometimes they don't make it where they're supposed to make it. Sometimes people don't make it home when they're supposed to be coming home, when they get sent out into that abyss that we talked about. But never mind that. We've got cars that will drive themselves into lakes and into people because, they haven't quite mastered the awareness, that people have because, you can see a person on the street with your eyeballs. You can understand that that figure moving towards you might not be wearing reflectors, but they are, in fact, a living thing. And, maybe you shouldn't hit it. But, these machines that have minds of their own, well, shout out to Elon for bringing all sorts of chicanery to our shores. And well, what about Vivek? Because he's had some things to say. Vivek Ramaswamy, you can look at his name and see that he is not like us. No, he's like them. The them that is being replaced. We turned the page, but damn it if we didn't end up on the same page. Vivek from India, not born in India, but of Indian origin, not the hey, how are you? Not those Indians, but the those Indians. He spent lots of time in India with his family as he matured into an adult, and well, $800 million worth of net worth and worth of pull. Well, now he feels like he has a say. I think my main and biggest concern this weekend and this past week has been the caucasity of it all. And I know some of these niggas, they're not even white, but they're not black. And I think that is the defining moment with these people, with these big thoughts. They're not black. And yet there are going to be some confused people around us, and that is supposed to be understood. But with regards to the people who understand these things, well,
make America great again. They have a point. America is not doing so great right now, right? Our kids' math scores are down. Our children's science scores are down. When judged according to international metrics, healthcare systems not doing so great. Wealth gap disparities increasing exponentially. There was an implied promise to a generation of Americans that if you do certain things, work hard, go to college, be a good person, you would have certain outcomes. And those outcomes didn't materialize for majority of people because baby boomers entrenched in decision-making positions lowered the capital gains tax so that their net worth essentially compounds year after year. And post-World War II, US leadership traded the domestic manufacturing industry for national security by making the US dollar the default international trade currency, which gave America the ability to impose economic sanctions on foreign countries through a US financial banking system, but consequently increased the value of the US dollar astronomically, which made it impossible for anyone to manufacture anything in America. Although the logic at the time was that Americans were supposed to upskill en masse away from the menial manufacturing jobs. But everyone here's too much of a dumbass to stay in school, so we just traded domestic manufacturing to Asia and the rest of the world at the expense of working class families. But if you don't read enough, it comes out as, let's go, Brenda! And it's like you have a point, but you don't have the vocabulary to describe your reality because you didn't read enough. You gotta keep reading. Beyond the hashtag, there's a book behind the word. You gotta keep going. You can go at your own pace, but you gotta finish the required reading, otherwise we can't have a conversation. It's just, we're all catching up to each other. Very, very passionate people, my MAGA friends. And I respect their passion to some extent. I do. They're like, man, Ronnie, I love America. I would die for this country. And I believe them. I believe they love America. And I believe they would die for this country, which is very admirable. But it's like, man, you're willing to die for your country. Why aren't you willing to learn math? Also for your country, like do both for your country. Because I know you want to die for your country, but we're losing the engineering jobs to Asia right now. So we need less people to die for the country. You want people to do their homework for the country. Like do your homework for your country. Like actually sit down and show the working and like do that. That's a more efficient way to show your patriotism. Like I know if you take that I want to die energy and you put it into homework, you will fucking top the school. I'm telling you, it's sky's the limit. You'll solve a lot of problems, you'll create a lot of jobs, you'll increase the GDP. Okay, just like do your homework for your country. I'd rather die. I thought so. I thought that might be the case. Dying's easy, math is hard. MAGA, make America great again.
Dying is easy, but math is hard, right? I mean, The irony of this man, I don't know what his name is. If y'all know what his name is, you can put his name in the chat. I thought this was hilarious. I mean, the fact that he has an accent, right? I don't know what type of Asian accent it is, but looking at him, stereotyping and all, he's Asian. He's not Mexican. He's not a nigga. He's not white. He's Asian. And the way the crowd was in stitches on his first little jab at America, math scores are down. Well, what they say about Asians in math, right? Well, it's so funny that they say that, but then they don't drive as well as you would think that they should be able to, with regards to all of the math that is involved with, our spatial awareness. But let me not get sidetracked there. Let's just continue forward with, he's got a very heavy accent. He's talking about the things, and these things, I don't know that I have any disagreement with what he was saying, as much as he is leaving out a very big piece of the pie. That racism, white supremacy that Black people in America have always been dealing with, and well, will continue to deal with, while we also deal with these other invaders, people who will take less than what they're worth, less than what is owed, to do a job that we've already set the price for. Niggas have not worked for free since 1865. So to think that you can pull these types of plays, especially in 2024, it's strange. At least it's strange to me, but maybe it's okay for you. Vivek Ramaswamy, he says that American culture promotes mediocrity over excellence. And that's the reason that America looks outward on hiring highly skilled professionals, that H-1B visa that's been in the news. But I wonder if Jamal had the same opportunities that Vivek had. And maybe you would say he did, because Vivek grew up in Cincinnati. I mean, Ohio is as American as you can get, right? It's not one of these immigrant telehubs like Texas or New York or, I don't know, California or even Florida, right? No, it's Cincinnati, Ohio. But we do have that amendment, that what is it, the 14th Amendment, where I guess it should have been on a time release with a detonator attached, because specifically for a specific group of people, and then being able to be utilized by any and everybody who kind of fits the bill. I mean, it's very funny, right? Our framers, the framers of the Constitution, the founding invaders or founding illegitimate fathers, the founding baby daddies of America, they were very keen on which words to use and which words not to use. And I don't think that it was ignorance. I do think that it was intelligence, but intelligence that can last a lifetime, last millennia, last forever. I mean, these are questions that I think that we should have when we're talking about laws and rules and things that could be antiquated, but we're still following them. If you think about it, the Civil War only really was won because Black people who were not allowed to have weapons broke the law with the help of white people who had the ability to assist them in breaking the law. And well, if you can't beat them, join them. And really, I think that that's a conversation that we don't really have, because everybody is cool with what they learned in school. I teach Sunday school on Sundays with my good friend and sister, Isla from the Soil on Twitter, if you are on that app. And We tell you guys not to send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed, but maybe you don't know what that means. Essentially, it is all of the unlearning that you've had to do as an adult. You shouldn't have had to go through any of that. I think that adds to the trauma because at the end of the day, maybe you say that it's too much and you go back to sleep. So, not that you are unaware of the problems, that you don't know that these things are happening, but you've accepted it. I'm tired of Black America who can see the plight and problems with any other group of people, but will accept the problems when it comes to their own people. I don't know if that's some sort of cognitive dissonance, like on an outward scale, as much as it is an identity crisis. But if everybody in America is supposed to be Americans, then it sounds like we would be shedding some of our identity in order to amalgamate to the group. Why is it that Black America is the only group that is being forced into this amalgamation? And why is Black America the only group that is being penalized for delineating? Finally, okay, sure, fine. You want us to be a separate group of niggas? Then we will be a separate group of niggas. But now, well, oh, you're xenophobic. Oh, you're a hate group. Oh, how can you say that you're different from me when we all arrived on a boat from somewhere at some time? But I'm sorry, I guess I'm going to have to put that into the same category in boxes. I'm tired of niggas pushing and merging hundreds and thousands of years of experience into one box. I mean, there's still niggas saying that, well, the world used to be connected on some Pangea shit. Like they don't even know that there were no people like people when the world was connected like that. I mean, I feel them, and it is in the unlearning that a lot of us get confused. But it's my hope that at least for the things that I've had to unlearn and relearn and continue to unlearn and relearn, because life is an everlasting and life learning experience, the minis hope that we can give them the information in real time so they don't have to unlearn some of these things. I mean, if they have to learn that Michael Jackson is a black man, I mean, I feel like we're already starting behind the eight ball, but a lot of y'all know that already. Have the brightest immigrants come to save America? You know, you've got people arguing, Asian American, Pacific Islanders, etc., that without the Asian influence, there would be no railroads in America. Shame on you. What did you think that they were using before the Asians got here? Because if memory serves me, it is your, or maybe not your, but the Black American experience that would give any credence or life to a railroad system. I mean, I read about John Henry when I was a kid. Did you? And yeah, folklore is what they will tell you. But if niggas was really outperforming everybody everywhere, I mean, they said 3/5 of a person, but really they meant that it took about 3 to 5 people to make one of you niggas. So, you know, you have to understand and maybe overstand that they're using exactly the words that help the spells. And if the goal is to keep you asleep, to keep you off of your square and unfamiliar with what is yours, then maybe you would think that the brightest immigrants have come to save America. Maybe you would think that immigrants make America great. But if you do a little Google search, just a real quick Google search, railroads in America can be traced back to 1815. That's not even 100 years after the American Revolution. So America's been around for almost 50 years at this point. And, well, we've got railroads. And, oh shit, when did slavery end? Oh, it's 1865. So in 1815, 50 years before the end of slavery or the beginning of the Civil War, you've got railroads. And I'm sorry, I know y'all seen that video of the white man picking cotton talking about it's not hard, but y'all are going to have to miss me with some of these lies. And y'all know that they're lies, but you're just allowing them to fester and just build. And ew. I mean, a person who would just allow the moldy apple to infiltrate and just mess up the rest of the fruit in the bowl, that's kind of dirty. Maybe you're a person who washes your greens in the tub, but tonight's not about her. Tonight's about the Ronald McDonald Trump, if you will, because he's given us some of the brightest immigrants, like on a platter, right? And between Vivek and Elon, if you count the amount of money that these two men are supposedly worth, that could save an entire third world country if they wanted to work together. But they're here in America, and we're not a third world country, right? I mean, yeah, our education system is in the shitter because, yeah, we are and have been focusing on things that don't really matter. You know, you've got a lot of focus on the celebrities and pop culture, and there was, I don't know, like a decade of people sharing world star hip hop videos because niggas fighting other niggas is just entertaining. I mean, a lot of us have been desensitized to the trauma that we've been through because so many videos. It's almost like it's supposed to do something. Maybe it's supposed to drown out something else. And when you look at the numbers, like if you look at the data, and I know sometimes they fuck with the data too, so you got to just be very particular about who you're getting your information from and why they would be spinning it in whatever direction they're spinning it. But according to CNN, from January of this year, the US economy is doing so much better than the rest of the world. I mean, essentially, we've got a GDP that has been growing at a 3% rate, but I guess maybe they're saying that the economists, yeah, I almost fucked that word up. The economists were only expecting like a 1% growth rate. And I know these boring numbers and figures, they don't interest me, but I do think that they interest somebody. And when you've got people who are going to be in control of different departments of government, different avenues of people interaction, and in charge of the tangibles and resources that these people are getting, well, I wonder, Trump said that he was going to make America great, but what type of America is he going to be ushering in? Because, you know, I thought we were turning the page to something that made sense, right? And I know Trump said that he wanted to go backwards. He wants to go back to a time when America had power, real power. You know, I guess the toxic masculinity era of America, the time when we would dump tea in a harbor because, now what the fuck do you mean you're taxing us on the tea? No, fuck your tea and fuck your boat and fuck your tax. We dumping it all this shit's going in the river. Or I'm sorry, in the harbor. But you know, it's been a while since white America has had any sort of cojones about themselves. It's almost like, well, maybe they're a dying breed. And maybe to them, the brightest immigrants have come to save America. But I don't know. I've had a few different interactions with some of these immigrants. And, well, at least if you were to look in the news going all the way back to 1993, you've got Russian immigrants who were accused of running the biggest healthcare scam in US history, $1 billion worth of fraud. And you've got these, this is from 2019, 3,100 migrants over the past year, so 5 years ago, 3,100 migrants making fraudulent claims about their age or family relationships. And then if you check out our good buddy Tom, that's our new border czar, our incoming border czar, he's been doing the digits and the facts, and he's uncovered all sorts of malarkey. I mean, people who are claiming children at the border, and these people are not family at all. I mean, there's 300,000 or so missing children. Like, they don't know where these little bastards are, but we're supposed to have a bleeding heart. Their parent who sent them ahead on this journey where they could be raped or killed or, I don't know, taken prisoner or held captive as a slave. I mean, they don't give a shit. But we're supposed to care. They're supposed to come here and we're supposed to have a bleeding heart. No. Not only have we not cared because we've been giving them to people who are not their family, but I mean, if that's what we've been doing, then we should just, hold the line. Continue to not care. Let Tom Holman send them back. Send them all back. The whole family. If you don't want to be separated from your child, then all of you can go. I think that's extremely decent. But, well, people are saying that we need to keep them here because, well, according to 5 different sources, the brightest immigrants have come to America. And these immigrants, well, they come from Mexico, India, and China. And I don't know what highly skilled professions are coming out of Mexico as much as maybe that is their stop before they got here. But, well, India. Let's talk about some visas. The H-1B visa has an annual cap of 85,000 visas, which include 20,000 visas if you have a master's degree or higher. Now, you would think that 85,000 is a very big number, but over the past 5 years, the number of applications have far exceeded the caps. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of applications are submitted each year. And you would think, where are all these applications coming from? But there is another visa. If you come here for school, that would be the F1 visa. Then maybe you would think that the next step is the H-1B visa. You've got many students with this F1 visa applying to schools such as Harvard and MIT and Stanford. And again, the reasoning being that they're going to be sidelined and cherry-picked for this other visa, a more permanent status type of situationship with America. But hundreds of thousands apply, only 85,000 get it. And I don't know. I don't think the math is mathing. I think that there have been some corners that have been cut, and 85,000 seems a little low. After the H-1B and the F-1B, you've got B-1 and B-2 type visas, which are for, like business meetings and medical treatment. We've got the best medical facilities here, the best doctors, the best technology, and people come here to receive treatments, and you actually need paperwork to do all of these things. So, you get you a B1 or a B2 visa, and well, now you can come over here and get your treatment. But, well, I don't know. I guess either I'm just jaded and scorned because of all of the shit that Black America has had to endure at the hands of people who are not supposed to be here. And then to hear that they are the brightest, they're the best. No, this is Eve. Look, the NBA and the NFL, they go to other countries and they look for, talent. You get 7-foot Chinese man to guard the basket and, all is right in the world. But I don't know. I feels like something ain't right because I don't know. I'm sorry. I do know there are a lot of Black athletes who know that the NBA is rigged. So they take their talent overseas and they make a killing. In the same form and fashion that a lot of Black singers, songwriters, they understand the music industry is rigged. So they take their talents somewhere else. I was having a live with our good brother, Dr. Winters, and he reminded me of the Trademark and Patent Office. And it is the Trademark and Patent Office. I mean, if you're going to give white people any sort of foundational approach, it would be in their ability to put their name on some shit, right? One step for man type. Shout out to them for putting us on the moon, right? Not to the Black women or Black men who helped us get there. Without their calculations, things go boom. But no, shout out to Neil Armstrong and them. Get to get off a spaceship and put your footprint on the moon. And no, I don't want to go into the fact that the moon doesn't really have an atmosphere and why is the flag flying and not flying away. Flat earthers sometimes have an argument that could be expounded on in a way that makes sense if we're talking about planes of existence, but then I don't know if they talk about those things. Have the brightest immigrants come to save America? Maybe they're coming to save us from the flat earthers. Maybe they're coming to save us from the you can be anything you want to be if you just put your mind to it. So now you've got white girls rolling around in shit on their bathroom floors saying that they're a little piggy. And this little piggy went to market and oinking because they put their mind to it. They said, what would a pig do? Well, a pig would get some shit and put it around the floor and they'd roll around in it. Shout out to that state trooper who pulled over the cat and the owner. The cat was driving, of course, and the person who identified as a cat tells the trooper that they identify as the cat. And the trooper says, okay, well, shit, did you need us to get animal control out here? I mean, do you need a rabies shot? Why are you operating a vehicle in the state of California? Cats are not allowed to do these things, but you can be whoever you want to be. America is fucked. I'm sorry. I hate to put it so bluntly, but the current state of things might have people wanting to flee. But Black America doesn't have that luxury. Not only did some of us have questions of, well, if we were stolen from Africa, why didn't they come save us? I know. Some of y'all had that question. And I think that that's a good question to have because that's what you were taught. You were stolen from somewhere. And, well, if they gave a damn about you, then they'd want to come get you, right? But what about the piece of the story that says that you weren't stolen from somewhere else? Maybe what about the story that talks about you were displaced, removed, paper genocided, if you will, off of the land? And then not allowed to read things for hundreds of years. I mean, what about that part of the story? Because I mean, I know that it's not talked about, but it is a very big part of our story. Because without it, you might think that everybody who comes to America has come here on a boat and everybody has contributed to America. I mean, we are the world power and everybody wants to come here because, well, this is America.
The womb is such a sacred place that we get to go into to go perform surgery. It's a place that most people don't get to go. Do we really need another fetal center in Columbus? And I ask myself that question. But if you actually think about what we have that's unique here, we have fabulous clinical establishment with a top 10 children's hospital. We have an amazing research institute. But even more importantly, the Ohio Fetal Medicine Collaborative. Not only can we provide what others are already providing, but
My bad, y'all. As I was sharing that, that is not the doctor that I wanted to highlight, as much as they do have the same last name. So, for all intents and purposes, Dr. Olutoye looks like this. But the Dr. Olutoye that I'm talking about tonight is not this man. It is a female anesthesiologist out of Texas. And, well, the brightest immigrants have come to save America, right?
collaborative. Not only can we provide what others are already providing, but we can actually do things better. We can provide services and care that currently does not exist. Taking advantage of the advances we have within our Center for Genomic Medicine, the Center for Gene Therapy, Center for Regenerative Medicine, we can translate a lot of that into the fetus so we can start the care for those children.
There you go. There's Dr. Olutoye. And again, that's not the Dr. Olutoye that I was wanting to talk about tonight, but how many Olutoyes do you know? I mean, they the same family. Is this a last name like Jones or Brown or Robinson, Jefferson, Washington? I don't know. I mean, I like to think that I have some knowledge about our diasporian cousins, but, well, we're always finding out something new, aren't we? And, well, I guess this is me finding out something new. This is a different Dr. Olutoye, and the Dr. Olutoye that I wanted to talk about was Dr. Olutoyin Olutoye, the anesthesiologist who was instrumental in our baby, Micah, Khalid, Logan, not making it out of a very simple surgery. I have the brightest immigrants come to America to save us. I don't know. Who's Micah? This is Micah. Look at that little baby. He's so precious. And over the past year and some change, we've raised about $32,000. We had a goal of $100,000, and no, we didn't make it. But that's okay, because every day you guys surprise me and you put a little bit something on it. I know it's Christmas just happened and you just bought all them presents for your kids, and you got bills due, you got the rent is due in 2 days, and you was robbing Peter to pay Paul to make sure that Christmas went off without a stitch. And I'm glad you was able to do that, because Joe Biden has been starving America. I mean, literally, people who have been fleeing here have been complaining and moaning and groaning about the things. I mean, literally, you've got Uber workers who are striking because they're not getting paid enough. Fast food workers who are saying that they're not getting paid enough. Do you remember when fast food work used to be for teenagers and college students? No, like 15 years ago, old people were not able to retire in a comfortable form or fashion, or nothing was adding up. The math won't math in about 2 decades ago for the boomers. At least the boomers who didn't do the things with their money. And then the ones who did do the things with their money, their kids tricked it off and they realized that they were going to have to work for the rest of their life. I mean, the ones who retired, they were dying very quickly because they didn't have anything left to live for. Their family had said, fuck them. They were hoarding the family generational wealth. So the family ignored them in their vulnerable time. When you're old, you're vulnerable. People take advantage of you when you're old. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of cases of old people being taken advantage of in these nursing homes. And I don't think that would happen if they had family who gave a damn. But I digress. Except for the fact that, in these nursing homes and hospice facilities, you've got a bunch of people who have these credentials, but they don't actually have the experience. No, they've got some papers. They've got some papers that say that they are who they say they are, that they do have the experience, that they have done the things. And then in 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, you find out that the doctor was raping the patients, that the orderly was giving STDs to the patients with dementia and having all sorts of inappropriate relationships with patients who would never remember. And what the hell is going on in America? But these aren't Americans taking care of Americans. So it's like, I kind of get it at this point. MAGA said, you will not replace us, and have been getting replaced ever since. Elon and Vivek are Republicans, hardcore Republicans who are not American. And I know, okay, fine, they have papers. They are American on paper. But Elon not even being born here, and Vivek only being allowed citizenship because of my ancestors' sacrifice, blood, sweat, and years. It seems like maybe some of these laws should be looked at again. I'm sorry, that 14th Amendment birthright citizenship, y'all don't like people saying it, but I think it might need to be looked at. I mean, if we don't have enough resources for America, then why do we continue to allow more Americans? I mean, more international Americans. We're not talking about the ones who were born here, because they don't care about them. No, you've got this power struggle between the right to choose and the right to life. And once that little nigga baby gets here, fuck them. No, the water is not better in Flint. No, Baltimore still has not changed in the past 15 years. If anything, I mean, maybe it is going through the gentrification that all of the rest of our cities and metropolises are going through. But have the brightest immigrants come to save America? I don't know. 2 or 3 immigrants were instrumental in this baby's death. So I'm gonna have to say no. The brightest immigrants have not come to save America. Maybe the brightest immigrants have come to America. But to save us? I don't know. IDK. In 1924, that would be 100 years ago, you've got the Immigration Act of 1924, the Johnson-Reed Act, and it limited the number of people allowed into the United States through a quota. And, well, maybe some of these laws need to be looked at again. I mean, I've been talking about the Appropriations Act of 1929 because of the Electoral College and how the numbers don't add up. And you've got these Democrats trying to flood the spaces with people who are not from here, who would have an allegiance to the Democrats for allowing them the opportunity to set foot over here and make some money. But then they don't vote Democrat, they vote Republican. I mean, they literally say, close the wall, close the borders, shut them bitches. Because no, it's like they know where they come from. I was having a conversation with my parents over the past couple of days, and I believe that America's lost their way because, well, to put it lightly, home training. But then when you've got people who are not from here, they've got different practices at home. Maybe you come from people who don't use washcloths. Does it mean that you are unclean? Probably. But does it mean that you are not trying to be clean? No. Maybe you're trying. Maybe you're just not doing the best thing that you can do. Or maybe, like my auntie said, maybe you've got some gloves that you use to wash your body with. But like I told her, if you've got pussy gloves just hanging in your shower, that anybody can use, the shower, and you just got your pussy gloves just hanging, that's just a little uncouth. I don't know that these are things that we've done or grown up on as much as they've been things that we've been forced to deal with, things that we've been told. Well, everybody does things differently, and you can't judge people based off of the things, but maybe if we did, we wouldn't be in the position we're in. Maybe we'd have a stronger foothold on making sure that they pay attention to what's owed to us, our needs as Black Americans. But no, like I told you earlier, there are so many niggas who can easily, comfortably identify the problems with any other group of people. But when it comes to themselves, they ignore them. It's not so bad. And do you know what a battered wife looks like? Because it looks like a bitch who accepts the abuse. It looks like a bitch who might go find another bitch to get and take the abuse so that they can get a break from the abuse. And yeah, all of these levels are bad. But when a person's put into a corner, you can't expect anything more than for them to fight for their survival. But let's go, Brandon! Like that Asian man was saying. Or are we going to do something better? Because have the brightest immigrants come to save America? I don't think so. But I do think that other countries have some thoughts on education. I do think that some other countries have learned from us. It is in the post-World War II era that Black Americans understood, at least a little bit better than they do now, that the patent office and the trademark office and these people who are in control of these things, they don't fuck with us. And yeah, they'll steal your stuff before they give you credit for it. So, we traveled. We went to other places. Germany, Japan, I don't know, Korea maybe, but don't quote me on Korea. But definitely Germany, definitely Japan, definitely these global powers that have these sparks of creativity and invention in the past 50 years. It's like, where did it come from? Oh, it came from the niggas who left America and said they're gonna do bad by themselves, but then they found out that it wasn't so bad. And stories like theirs that I guess I'm a little bit reserved about, because some of you idiots will hear me say that Americans, Black Americans, fled the persecution and oppression that America has to offer. And maybe they did. But maybe the world is a better place because they were able to take their inventions, creativity, and resilience to a place that appreciated it. And at the end of the day, they only really appreciated the dollar. And because the dollar is how the world is running right now, it seems like, well, I guess we could be in a class war if America could get its head from about up its ass. But while we're stuck up there having to deal with a lot of shit that we didn't ask for, there are people who are not from here that we didn't ask for, coming with their hands open, outstretched, and not to give us a hug. No, to take, to be next to learn from. You can't tell me that you come from a country that doesn't have plumbing, that you've got any sort of doctoring skills. No, that sounds disgusting. And I know, yeah, in times of war, you're going to have to be able to MacGyver some things. You're going to have to be able to emotep some things, if you will. And yeah, we've been able to do these things in times of need. But to not have running water, but to come here and be considered the brightest of the bright, how? And if you are the brightest of the bright, wouldn't you want to take these skills back and make wherever you came from great again? I mean, if you came from there, surely there are others like you who just need access to some tangibles. You know, they need someone to give a damn about them. And then you put something back into your community and you can watch your community thrive and flourish and grow. Your community might even turn into a competitive global superpower. But you'll never know if you keep fleeing. And I'm sorry, if you fleed, use a flea. And America's got a flea problem, but since I can't say that America needs a flea bath, I can talk about the fact that people are mistaken. Vivek has made a lot of money off of American ignorance. Elon has made a lot of money off of American immigrant ignorance, not immigrants. He's an immigrant. But in our ignorance, have we given up hope? Do you not care anymore? Because if you continue to shout about our reparative justice, but then you don't do things to make these thoughts come to fruition, you are as bad as these thoughts and prayer niggas. And I'm sorry. I'm tired of thoughts and prayers. I need some actions. I don't want you to change your Facebook profile banner to show that you're in solidarity. No, I need you to say these things uncompromisingly when it matters. You know, when it comes time to vote for someone and they say, well, you know, America is important to me. And that's why we need to have a sanctuary city for, nope, negative, nope. Or America is important to me and that's why we need to send money. Nope. You know, back in October, there was this uncovering 200 unqualified teachers working in Texas given fake certifications. 2 of them were sexual predators. And that's just 2 that we know about. It's insane that we've got all of these highly skilled professionals coming from all of these places, but then their credentials are fraudulent. It's almost like they've been listening to the broke authority. I mean, I'm sorry, Mr. Flat Black Authority. I mean, Mr. Fat Back Authority. I'm sorry. Sounds like they've been listening to Jeremy. And if you know anything about Jeremy, you know that it's all about the words and nothing to do with the actual math. And since we're existing in a time where you can just use whatever words you want, whatever floats your boat, well, I guess it's up to the American people to read, like that Asian man earlier I was telling you about. Because, like I said, I thought that what he had to say was hilarious. It was very on point. Yeah, he left out the racism, white supremacy of it all. But, you know, when you want to have the class argument, that's it right there. And then how on point we're losing these jobs to the Asians. Spoken from an Asian with a whole accent. Like, shit is hilarious. But not like, ha ha, funny, unless you want to laugh at us. But maybe you're a person who likes laughing at yourself. Maybe you're one of the people that Vivek and Elon have been describing. You need help. And if you need help, I suggest you go seek that help. Because the rest of you, the ones who don't need help, the ones who voted for the couch, who didn't participate in the sham that is the presidential election, the people who are working outside of the matrix, knowing that any day could be your day. It's you guys who are the brightest. And come to save America, you're already here. I think that it is in your resilience and fortitude and focus that America will be saved. Because just like in 1865, they didn't want our help. But not only did we want an excuse to whoop some white ass, but I mean, it was time. What comes up must come down, and the maths. It's when you try to make things unnatural, right? You try to keep the ball in the air for as long as possible. And yeah, sometimes you are that good of a trickster. You have been able to manipulate the environment and your surroundings, but for how long? And at what cost? Because America is going down in flames if you're one of those Bible thumping people. Babylon is what they call us. And, well, you've got Black Americans all over the world who would say that they left and that was the best thing they could do. And you've got these other people saying coming to America was the best thing that they could do. But when you look at how much people are making and where these people are from, I would say very comfortably, the only reason these people are successful is because Black America has not had enough. When is enough enough? Because when enough is enough, that's when America's going to see some things. That's when it's going to be, oh, well, if you can't beat them, join them. Going to see a lot more interracial relationships. You're going to see a lot more people telling us to be quiet because we got to keep the peace. Look at how much progress we've made. But if that progress hasn't included them cutting a check, no, they're still stealing from us. The brightest immigrants have come to America, but to save it? No. No, I think they want to rename it. Something like the United States of Immigrants.
Just eat.